Commission. Sit back, relax, and let us get you briefed on the day's news. I'm Tess Njenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. Let's dive into the day's news. Now, the Catholic Church on this Thursday, the 8th of March, unveiled a new pope known as Cardinal Robert Provost from the United States of America. It has now been revealed that the pope will be known as Pope Leo the 14th. The new pope appeared in the last hour on the balcony in the Vatican overlooking the square, addressing the excited crowd. Earlier on, white smoke rose from the chimney of the Sistine Chapel in the Vatican, indicating that one of the 133 cardinals sequestered in the Vatican since May 7th had been elected as the 267th leader of the Roman Catholic Church. Crowds that had gathered in St. Peter's Square erupted into cheers, and church bells rang as the smoke confirmed that the College of Cardinals had reached a decision on the second day of the conclave. This is after two previous moments where black smoke had been released, showing they had not come to an agreement on the new pope.
Leader of the Catholic Church. There is a new pope, so we will wait to find out who that person is. Again, this is the second day of voting. Actually started yesterday. We brought you that story live, the video there from the Sistine Chapel. You can see the people in St. Peter's Square. They are cheering. We see the clapping there and that white smoke coming from the chimney that was installed just recently at the top of the Sistine Chapel. Again, for those who've been watching, we just heard from NBC's Jay Gray that people were gathering in St. Peter's Square, focusing on what would be coming. We knew that the Cardinals would have their second round of voting sometime today. Of course, we've been watching this for quite some time. If you've been following along with us, both here on air as well as on WCNC Plus. Again, video from the Sistine Chapel there, that chimney signaling that those Cardinals have elected a pope. We knew that the pope would have to have a 2/3. One of those cardinals would have to have a 2/3 majority vote to be elected cardinal, to be elected pope. Right now.
Now back into the country, Erastus Edong Ethekon from Turkana County has been nominated by President William Ruto as the chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC. The president has also nominated 6 other individuals to serve as commissioners and has forwarded all their names to Parliament for vetting. The 6 include Anne Njeri Nderitu, Moses Alutalala Mukhwana, Mary Karen Sorobit, Hassan Nur Hassan, Francis Odhiambo Aduol, and Fahima Arafat. Since the previous officials vacated office. A somber mood engulfed Homa Bay County following the arrival of the body of Kasipul Member of Parliament Charles Ongondo Uwere ahead of his burial tomorrow, that is on Friday. The late Member of Parliament's body was received at his home early Thursday, accompanied by a large convoy from Kabunde Airstrip. His remains were flown from Wilson Airport to Homa Bay early this morning. Leading the procession were Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga and Homa Bay Town Member of Parliament Peter Kaluma, alongside hundreds of mourners and supporters, many overcome with grief. Charles Were was shot and killed last week by an unknown assailant along Gong Road in Nairobi. He is set to be laid to rest at his home in Kachian Village, Kasipul constituency. President William Ruto has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to bold and targeted reforms in the education sector aimed at expanding access, improving infrastructure, and strengthening research and training. Speaking at State House, Nairobi, during the award of a university charter to Uzima University, the president emphasized that a robust education system is key to inclusive development and national prosperity. He was joined at the event by former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Migoso Gamba, Kisumu Governor Anyang' Nyong'o, and Uzima University founder Archbishop Emeritus Zacchaeus Okoth.
The former Prime Minister is challenging us to think deeply. Korea made the decisions that changed their destiny. Singapore made the decisions that changed their destiny. If we are to change our destiny, we have to make decisions that will change the course and destiny of our nation. They may not be popular, they may not be simple, but these are the right decisions. It is up to us either to make politically correct, simple, convenient decisions, or make the right decisions that will change the destiny of our country. And this will make the difference. And we need to consistently answer the question the Right Honorable Raila is asking us as a nation, that which are these decisions that others made that made them take their countries to where they are, and what is it that we didn't gather the courage to make those decisions to change the course of our nation. We've had also to make a decision on the funding model. We've been trying as a nation to make a decision that would help our universities not to crumple under huge debts. Again, we've had to make those decisions, and today we can see, I was with the Right Honorable in Cooperative University last week, and the Vice Chancellor was telling us that the new funding model has made it possible for them to make sure that they pay their staff, their lecturers, their taxes, and their suppliers.
Njenga and Mandera counties have made history as the first devolved units to officially take over the administration of student bursaries from the national government. The milestone follows the signing of an Intergovernmental Partnership Agreement (IPA) with the Ministry of Education at Jogoo House in Nairobi, unlocking billions in funds previously frozen by the Controller of Budget. The deal sets a precedent for other counties and marks a shift in how education support is managed across the country. Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba hailed the move as a step forward for devolution and better service delivery for needy learners. Murang'a Governor Irungu Kang'ata has on his part confirmed that the county would withdraw a court case against the Controller of Budget, while Mandera Governor, that is Mohammed Aidan Halif, said the agreement will boost transparency and efficiency.
You had one county supports 50,000 students, another one 35,000 students. When you multiply that across all the 47 counties, that is a very large number of students who, if this was not done, would not benefit from that bursary. Indeed, as you're aware, we've had testimonies of students who have actually stated that without the support that they've gotten from these bursaries, they would not have reached where they have reached. So it is in our interest to ensure that we do everything possible to create an environment, create policies, and have these cooperation agreements that allow the county governments to work with the national governments towards ensuring that services such as this bursary to students, such as school feeding, is actually made possible within the law.
For the signing of this document, so that our 50,000 plus students who benefit under bursaries can continue with schooling. They are currently at home, but with this signature they now come back to school. And we thank the CS, the PS, for agreeing to adhere to a presidential directive Even when the president came to Muranga, we alerted him of this problem. Once the control budget receive this document and accept our requisition, we promise to withdraw our contempt proceedings as soon as that happens.
On that note, let's take a short break on Newswatch tonight. More is coming up after the break.
Join Baraka Band this Sunday for a moment of worship on Ultimate Worship. From 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and repeat from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Hope TV, look and live.
Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content, of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries, with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station, with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Thank you for tuning in to Hope TV, your go-to channel for hope, inspiration, education, and wholesome entertainment. At Hope TV, we are committed to knowing God and making Him known through powerful media content. We truly value you and are dedicated to serving you better. For feedback, inquiries, or complaints, reach out via WhatsApp or SMS on 0708 222 323. Email us at customerexperience@hopefm.org. Hope TV, look and live.
Welcome back. A businesswoman from Embu town is crying out for justice after she was brutally assaulted by her estranged husband at her workplace last Saturday, May 3rd. The attack, captured on CCTV, left Irene Karimoni with a broken arm, a bruised face, and 3 cracked teeth. She claims her ex-husband has been harassing and threatening her since their separation 2 years ago. Despite filing multiple reports, Karimoni says police have failed accusing them of protecting the suspect, who remains free. On Wednesday, she was shocked to be summoned to DCI offices only to be arrested and detained at Embu police station. She's expected in court on Friday, with police saying both parties will be charged with fighting. The mother of one says she fears for her life, alleging her attacker has threatened her life.
Hapa ambaye nafahamu, lakini ni baba mtoto wangu na tuliachana mwaka uliopita. Akaingia, alikuwa kwa shughuli za simu, akiongea na simu, na mimi nilikuwa busy naongea na customers. So kidogo kidogo nikapata amesukuma customer kando, akajaribu kulazimisha kuingia ndani, nikamzuia. Ndiposa akanizidi nguvu na kuingia ndani, akaanzia kuchokora vitu na kirusha huko chini, kumuuliza. Na kwa wakati huo kuna customer alinipigia simu ambaye alikuwa anataka kuhudumiwa kwa duka lingine. So huyo customer vile alinipigia simu, nikapata huyu bado anaendelea kuharibu documents za customer, kirusha chini, nikamuuliza ni nini anatafuta, ndipo alishika mkono wangu na akaufinya, akasukuma kwa mbao ambayo iko hapo karibu na shelf yangu mahali nilikuwa nimewekelea pesa. Kwenda kumuuliza ni mbona ananifinya, anaendelea kunifinya na kunitwist mkono, na mkono yangu ikaumia, na ndiko akaniweka ngumi ambayo iliniumiza macho, ikanivunja meno mbili na ikaniumiza mpaka masikio. Na wakati nilipiga nduru, kuna mtu alikuwa ameketi hapa nje ambaye ni mwenye alikuwa amenipea hii duka, anaitwa Shanice. Aliona hivyo, nikapiga nduru, alijaribu kutoroka akinivuruta nguo, kiniotoa nje, sijui kama alikuwa anataka kuja kunichapia hapa nje, lakini Shanice aka make sure ameniokoa, na wale customer wengine wakaanzia kupiga nduru. Ndipo jamaa akaacha, amesema wewe, nitakumaliza wewe mwanamke malaya, na akapanda pikipiki akatoroka akaenda.
Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale has officially launched the Kenya National Public Health Institute, marking a major step towards strengthening universal health coverage and national health security, established under Legal Notice 14 of 2022. The KNPHI will serve as a central hub for disease surveillance, health research, policy coordination, and emergency response. Speaking at the launch, CS Duale highlighted the need for resilient institutions that can respond quickly and effectively to public health threats, saying the institute will help eliminate duplication and improve preparedness across the country.
We services and the State Department.
It is actually now established by a legal notice. You and I know that a legal notice can be changed on Friday. The person who signed it can resign it on another Friday and it no longer exists. Therefore, I think after it has been, we have established, the biggest thing now is to actually look at how we entrench it legally, so that we need an act of parliament to entrench it.
Events of the recent years, from the COVID-19 pandemic to the Ebola outbreaks in neighboring countries, have taught us hard lessons. We must have strong institutions capable of acting swiftly and decisively to protect the health of our people. And this is why the National Public Health Institutes are so vital.
The Africa Hub of the Equipping Christian Leadership in an Age of Science conference kicked off this week at Pan-Africa Christian University in Nairobi, drawing scholars, clergy, scientists, and leaders from across the continent to explore the intersection of science and faith in addressing modern global challenges. According to Park University Deputy Vice Chancellor Dyphus Chemorion, the future of Christian leadership must be scientifically informed and biblically rooted, as discussions emphasized the urgency of integrating scientific literacy into ministry and faith-based community leadership. The conference, which ended today, Thursday, continues to provide a platform for robust engagement between theology and science, empowering leaders to navigate emerging ethical dilemmas while remaining anchored in faith. The event is part of a wider initiative by ECLAS to equip African Christian leaders with the tools and knowledge to confidently participate in global scientific discourse while preserving the integrity of their faith.
And understanding the nature of this earth, what affects the atmosphere, the weather, to not be effective. So by us understanding what affects the climate change, we can now know how to take care of this earth by making the climate change to be okay and to be in good.
When God made man, he made man to be on control of all that is in the universe. So we as the Christians, we have a responsibility so that we can look into the ways that we can change, like we can control soil erosion by planting trees. We can be like looking on the forest covers. We can look at the river banks. We can look on the place that where we have slopey areas. We help those people that they can move onto the upper lands.
The church is resistant to take them. We have seen cases of vaccination they don't want. We have seen cases of promotion of preventive health practices, and sometimes the church is hesitant to adopt what the scientists are putting on table. Sometimes the scientists also totally ignore the wisdom of the church, and we are saying that is not right. And so how can they work together on pertinent issues?
For the second day in a row, workers at the Nzoia Sugar Company have taken to the streets in protests demanding the government pay them salary arrears amounting to 2.3 billion shillings wages owed over the past 28 months. The protests come as investors Newswatch Rai is expected to take over the management of the struggling sugar mill for the next 30 years. The workers marched for 5 kilometers from the factory to the Webuye Malaba highway, where they blocked the road, disrupting transport in the area. Speaking to the press, the workers vowed to continue pushing until they receive their rightful dues from the government before the investor assumes control of the mill. Meanwhile, some sugarcane farmers in Kandui constituency have dismissed the protests as politically motivated. They allege that a section of politicians from Bungoma County are funding the demonstrations to derail government efforts to revive the factory.
One thing I've learned about leadership, just generally in leadership, the leader is not the smartest person in the room. All right? He's not always the smartest person. When you're a leader, your strength is in the ability to be able to harness the gifts around you. It's the same thing in the family. All right? Like I said, your wife is a very smart person. So you don't shut her down. All right? But you allow her to, you pick those ideas, you discuss them, and one of you, you make them your own.
Definitely.
It's like even in any organization, as the CEO, for example, you're not necessarily the smartest person in that organization, but you get around yourself people who are smart, people who are good in what they do, and then you take all those ideas and then you lead. And guess who takes credit at the end of the day? You take the credit at the end of the leader. Because you're the leader.
You're the leader.
Isn't it? You know. So that's what leadership is all about. So being able to also just harness all those gifts that God has given you through your wife and one of you, but being able to chart the way forward.
Men on Record, every Friday at 7 p.m.
Rafiki soul is the promise of a hand that reaches and goes beyond what angaza tumaini kote. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu, ukarimu. Rafiki soul is a promise of a hand that reaches and goes beyond what angaza tumaini kote. I'm forever grateful. Ninashukuru ukarimu.
Friends of Hope, keeping hope alive.
Welcome back in business. The Kenya Revenue Authority, KRA, has crossed the 2 trillion mark, that is 2 trillion shillings mark, collecting 2.112 trillion shillings in revenue as of April 30th, 2025. This represents a performance rate of 96.5% against a target of 2.189 trillion shillings. Compared to the same period last year, revenue grew by 6.1%, driven by strong performance in both domestic taxes and customs. Domestic taxes hit 1.386 trillion, while customs revenue rose to 722.7 billion shillings, which is a 9.1% increase. KRA noted that economic challenges such as slower GDP growth, reduced import demand, and high commercial lending rates dampened revenue mobilization. However, the authority says recent reforms like the centralized release office and policy adjustments are improving collection efficiency. Despite the headwinds, KRA remains optimistic as most economic indicators show signs of recovery. As Africa faces rising youth unemployment, inequality, and climate shocks, the 8th Annual Africa Conference on Social Entrepreneurship, also known as AACOSE8, has been launched in Nairobi ahead of its main event next week at the Tangaza University. Held under the theme Shaping Africa's Social Economy, the conference aims to promote inclusive, people-centered growth. With over 10 million youth entering Africa's job market annually and only 3 million formal jobs available, organizers say the continent urgently needs a new economic model in Kenya, with a projected 5.2% GDP growth is poised to lead this shift. AACOSE8 will bring together 45 speakers, 30 exhibitors, and delegates from more than 20 countries.
Gathering that brings together different actors in the social entrepreneurship space across the continent. Social entrepreneurship is a movement of people who believe strongly that this continent has all the solutions to tackle all the pressing challenges that we have.
We see the opportunity of the social economy within the context of what's possible within Kenya and Africa at large. The African culture, it has always been very collaborative and socially driven. Unfortunately, over the last many years, we have moved towards the Western system of economics. And so we have a lot of capitalism and extractive kind of systems.
Where we're going to be discussing social financing for the social economy. As we know, financing is a major issue for social enterprises, not only in Kenya, but in Africa. Speaking to key stakeholders from governments to grassroots initiatives on how we can set up a system that has accessible and inclusive financial models that works for the whole continent, but particularly for the youth, women, and people with disabilities.
We'll be discussing how the youth can contribute to the growth of the creative economy, social economy, through digital skills, adaptation of emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and machine learning, and how all those technologies can be integrated to solve problems in the social economy.
Our focus is on migration, refugees, and sustainable livelihoods, where we are looking at what are the sustainable approaches to migration, what are the opportunities that migration brings in, and what are the current trends in terms of policies and innovations.
The 12th edition of the East Africa Property Investment Summit has been held at the Pullman Hotel in Upper Hill, recognized as East Africa's premier real estate event and two-day summit, brought together over 450 global investors, developers, and industry leaders under the theme Positioning for Opportunity. Now in its third year as lead sponsor, ABSA has reaffirmed its commitment to the region's economic growth. The financial services group, with a strong presence in Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, and Mozambique, continues to support the summit as part of its broader strategy to drive development across African markets.
We have a strong track record in commercial, retail, hospitality, affordable housing, and the industrial sectors. We bring that deep expertise that enables your growth and transformation. We enable this growth through strategic partnerships, and we view real estate development as a catalyst for broader economic growth, supporting jobs, SMEs, and infrastructure development. I am particularly encouraged by the focus of this year's summit, Positioning for Opportunity. This aligns very closely with our corporate purpose in ABSA, which speaks to empowering Africa's tomorrow together, one story at a time.
And in sports, the NCBA golf action continues in full swing this weekend, with 3 key events taking place across various golf clubs. The popular NCBA Golf Series progresses with its next leg at the Machakos Golf Club on Friday, while the NCBA Kiambu Open tees off on Friday at Kiambu Golf Club. At the same time, the junior golf spotlights will shine at Royal Nairobi Golf Club with the NCBA US Kids Golf Spring Local Tour Tournament on Sunday. At the 9-hole Machakos Golf Club, over 100 golfers are expected to participate in the NCBA Golf Series event as they seek to secure qualification slots for the grand finale scheduled for 28th November 2025. And the KCB FC will lock horns with Shabana FC in a Kenya Premier League clash tomorrow afternoon at the Dandora Stadium. The Bankers are eager to return to winning ways, having gone 5 matches without a victory. Their most recent outing saw them fall 1-0 to Talanta FC at the same venue, a result that left Patrick Odhiambo's side in 7th place on the table with 41 points. Last season, under Bernard Mwalala, KCB finished the season 10th with 45 points and reached the final in the FKL Cup. When Patrick Odhiambo took over, expectations were high as he will be the man to lead KCB FC to its maiden KPL title. However, things have not gone well for the Bankers, who have struggled in the second half of the season. KCB are still missing the services of goalkeeper coach Samuel Koko and defender Manzour Okwaro, who are with the under-20 side in Egypt for the ongoing under-20 AFCON tournament.
We are very ready for this game. We have been having bad times. Maybe we've lost 2 matches consecutively, which is not a good thing. But we are trying our best. Maybe we can redeem ourselves with this match against Shabana. We know it's not going to be an easy one. It's going to be a tough one. Looking at the strength of Shabana, the recent matches that they have played, it's a winning team. Looking from the trainings and how the players are responding, they are very positive. And we just hope that we'll get good result into that match. First of all, I'd like to thank them further for the patience that they have had with the team. But what I would like to urge them is to just be with us, be patient, and accommodate us in our weaknesses. Yeah.
My first appearance for KCB was against Talanta FC. Ilikuwa feeling poor. Kuconsider vile nimeka out for long bila kucheza because of some injuries, but sasa niko fully fit and it's a great feeling to be back. The team has prepared well enough. From Monday, the sessions have been great, intense, and tomorrow I think we'll pick a win. I'm very certain we'll win the game against Shaban. Naweza ambia mafans wa KCB wote wajitokeze kwa game ya kesho. Hatutaangusha. Na pia mafans wangu, game iko pale Machakos saa 10. Mtokeni wote.
And with that, we have come to the end of Newswatch this evening. On behalf of the whole team that has made this bulletin a success, thank you for watching. God willing, see you tomorrow night, same place, same time, that is at 9 p.m. We will also be taking a look at our segment, Today's Conundrum. Till then, I'm Tess Njenga and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Have a good night.